So need matrix we have to calculate by subtracting maximum requirement of that particular process minus currently allocated resources. Will give you need for each process. So 3 minus 1, and it is 1 to 1 subtraction or addition. 3 minus 1 it is 2, then 2 minus 0 it's 2, and 2 minus 0 it's 2. So need of process P1 is 2, 2, 2. For P2 it is 0, 0 and 1. Need for process P2 is 6 minus 6 0, 1 minus 1 0 and 3 minus 2 1. For P3 3 minus 2 that is 1, then 1 minus 1 0 and 4 minus 1 that is 3. And for P4 4 minus 0 which is 4, 2 minus 0 2 and 2 minus 2 0. And how to calculate available vector? First we have to check how many resources are allocated to these processes. Of R1 type we allocated 6 plus 2 plus 1, so total 9 resources. Then of R2 2 and of R3 5. So 9 to 5 resources of R1, R2, R3 are already allocated to the processes. And maximum resources that we have 936 of R1, R2 and R3. And out of this allocated are 925. So what is available? 9 minus 9 0, 3 minus 2 1 and 6 minus 5 1. So available is 0 1 1. Now you have need matrix and you have available vector. You have to use safety algorithm or Banker's algorithm to check whether the system is in a safe state. So we have available, that is 0 1 1, or it is also called as work, and we have this need matrix. So what Banker's algorithm says? We need one more data structure that is called finish, and it is initialized to 0, that is false. P0, P1, P2, P3. So it is P1, P2, P3, P4. Initialize it to false. Then first we have to check whether finish is 0, yes, and we have to check whether need is less than available or work. So need of this process is 2, 2, 2, available is 0, 1, 1. So condition doesn't match. So P1 has to wait. Then control will move to P2. Need is 0, 0, 1. Available is 0, 1, 1. So and finish is 1. So both the conditions are satisfied. Finish is false and need is less than available. So we can grant request of P2. So P2 can execute first, and new available will be work plus, this is work or available, work plus allocation of P2, that is 6 1 2. So these resources will be free, and now new new work will be 6 22 and 3. So it is 6 2 3, and first process executed is P2. It released the resources allocated to it, and now we have 6 2 3 resources available. So can we grant request of P3? P3 request is 1 0. We have to make this 1. P2 executed. So make this flag 1, or finish of that particular process 1. Then for P3 finish is 0. Need is less than work. So P3 can complete. Add allocation to the work, that is 2 1 1. It will be 8 3 and 4. New work will be 8 3 4, and sequence is P2 P3. P4 requirement is 4 2 0. Available is 6 3 4. We have to make this 1, and finish is 0. So P4 can execute, and it will add these two resources here. So now it will be 8 3 6, and again loop will continue with P1. Can we access the request of P1? Yes. So it will be 222. Something is wrong. What was our available? Nine three six minus 925. It will be 011. Correct. So initially our work is 011. Process P1 cannot be executed. Process P2 can execute and it will release 612. So 6, 1 plus 1, that is 2, and 2 plus 1 will be 3. So next work is 623. P3 can execute and release these resources 211. It will be 8, 3 and 4. And then P4 will execute and release these two resources. It will be 3, 6, 8, 3, 6. Then process P1 can execute. This request can be granted and this one resource will be added here and we'll get 936, which were our original or available resources to the system. So this is called Banker's algorithm. Any queries here? Any queries about Banker's algorithm? Okay. Then we can move ahead. Wait a minute. So yesterday we have seen this example. I have shared one example for practice in our Moodle page. Solve that problem. I'll share the solution in the next lecture.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, I am getting after like P2, P3, P4 execution and then P1 will execute. So
Yeah.
the new work becomes 1058.
No, it will become 936. Same, you should get the maximum resources. That value should match.
Ma'am,
After
for the
all
P3,
resources.
ma'am, for the P3, it is 834. Now, after execution of P3, the new work will be 834.
Correct.
And then 834 plus P1 allocation. Okay, 9.
Allocation. I have also done the same mistake. We have to add allocation, not the need.
Yeah, so it will be 934.
936, correct. So we have seen what is the deadlock, what are the reasons to for the system to enter into the deadlock. There are four reasons: mutual exclusion, hold and wait, no preemption, and circular wait.
Ma'am,
Yes,
sorry to disturb you again, but it is 934, not 936. It
yes,
is 100 for P1, no?
100. Yes, it
So
should be 936.
okay, ma'am, I will check it once.
Check it. So we have seen what is a deadlock, what are the conditions so that deadlock will occur. There are four conditions: mutual exclusion, hold and wait, no preemption, and circular wait. We have seen how to get rid of the deadlock. There are four ways. First one is prevention, then avoidance, third is detection, and fourth is ignorance. So we have seen what is a preemption. Deadlock prevention means make any of these four conditions false. So that will be a deadlock prevention. Then second is deadlock avoidance. We have seen Banker's algorithm and resource request grant algorithm. These two algorithms help us to prevent the deadlock, avoid the deadlock. Here we assume that uh, resource is allocated, then we'll check whether the system will be in a safe state. If yes, then only allocate that request permanently. Otherwise, roll back and get the resources again. So unless and until system is in a safe state, resources are not allocated to the system. Then third way is deadlock detection. Deadlock detection assumes that allow system to enter into the deadlock. let the first deadlock happen, then we'll think about whether to get out of it or not. Then detection algorithm, check whether there is a deadlock. This algorithm is frequently uh, executed periodically to check whether there is a cycle, there is a deadlock, and if yes, deadlock is there, then we have to find out how to recover from the deadlock. So first, without any checking, just grant the request, periodically check whether the system is in safe state or not, and if it is a deadlock state, try to recover from it. So for single instance of each resource type, if we have only one instance of each resource, we didn't have multiple instances, then we have to maintain wait for graph. This is similar to resource allocation graph. Here nodes are processes and there is a link between P1 to PI to PJ if PI is waiting for PJ. Now in this case we are not, there is no resource node, there are only process nodes. We are removing resource nodes from resource allocation graph, and we'll just show the links between one process to another process, that is wait for graph. This process P1 is waiting for P2 or P2 is waiting for P3, like this. Then periodically invoke an algorithm that searches for a cyclic in a graph. Means algorithm will check whether there is a cycle in this wait for graph or not. An algorithm to detect cycle in a graph requires an order of n square operations, where n is number of vertices in a graph. To check whether there is a cycle, the system will require n square operations, order of n square. So we have seen this type of graph. This is called resource allocation graph. How to read this? You can start from P1. P1 is holding R2, waiting for R1. P2 is holding R1, waiting for R4 and R3 and R5. P3 is holding R4, waiting for R5. P4 is holding R5, waiting for R2. And P5 is holding R3. So instead of showing like this, we just remove all these square nodes, that is nodes representing resources, and we can just show which process is waiting for which another process. For example, P1 is waiting for P4, so there will be link from P4 to P1. P2 is waiting for P1, like this. So there should be a link from P1 to P2. Here P2 is waiting for P3, so there is a link from P2 to P3. So we can show this graph, wait for graph, assuming that we just have only one instance of that particular resource. Okay. So this is resource allocation graph and wait for graph. You got the difference between these two graphs? Wait for graph is just showing which process is waiting for another process. And here we have to check whether there is a cycle. Algorithm is similar to Banker's algorithm. It's the same algorithm, you can say. Here available, it is a vector of length m. M is number of resources, indicating number of available resource of each type. Allocation is n by n matrix. In case of several instance, if you have, instead of one instance, if you have several instance, then this is the safety algorithm. Again, we have to run to check whether there is a deadlock. And request is n by m matrix. Request means need matrix. Available is available array, allocation is allocation array, and request is need matrix. Algorithm is same. Work and finish. Work is equal to available. Finish is false for all the processes. Then for index I, if finish is false, request is less than work. We have to add work plus allocation, make finish true, and go to step 2. We have to repeat this step for all the processes. If finish of I is false for some processes, not for all, then the system is in deadlock state. And if it is true for all the processes, system is in a safe state. And if finish of I is false, then PI is for a particular process. If running this algorithm several times, PI is false, it is not getting true or not getting executed, then this is a deadlocked process. So to run this algorithm, we need m by n square operations to detect whether the system is in deadlocked state. So there are two algorithms. First algorithm is wait for graph, draw wait for graph and check whether there is a cycle or not. This algorithm is applicable if there is only one instance per resource. If there are several instances per resource, we have to run a safety algorithm and check whether there is a deadlock. So check whether you are getting this sequence for this particular example. We have 5 processes P0 to P4 and 3 instances, 3 resource types with A with 7 instance, B with 2 instance and C with 6 instance. This is allocation matrix and request matrix. Here maximum is not given, not needed actually. When you, if request is given, no need of max. Why we need max? Max or claim is required to calculate request. In some examples, they may give you only request matrix. With that, you should able to check whether the system is in safe state or not. For example, here, this is allocation and this is the request. So from allocation, we have to check how many resources are currently allocated. So 3 plus 2 plus 2, that is 7 is resources of A, 2 instances of B, and 4 plus 2, 6 instances of C already allocated. So we didn't have any instance available. All the instances are allocated. So available is 0, 0, 0. Still, can we get a safe sequence? Yes. For example, need of P0 is 0, 0, 0. So we can execute P0 and release B1. So now available is 0, 1, 0. And we'll check whether this request is less than need. No. Need is less than available. No. Then P2 will be executed. P2 doesn't require any resource. So P2 can execute and release 303. So now we have 3 resources available. So we can execute P3. P3 can be executed and it will release 211. So how many resources are there after P3? 5, 2 and 1. So we have 5, 2 and 1 resources available. And next process is P4. P4 requires 0, 0, 2. So 5, 2 and 1, is it less than or greater than 0, 0, 2? So first P0 will execute. Currently available instances are 0, 0, 0. It will add its allocation, that is 0, 1, 0. And new available will be 0, 1, 0. Then P0 executed, P1 cannot execute because requirement is 0, 0, 0, 2, 0. Then P2 will execute. P2 will execute and it will add its allocation, that is 303. It will add its allocation, that is 303. And now available resources are 313. Then it will execute P3. So P0 executed, then P2 executed, then P3 will execute. P3 will execute and release 211. So now we have 5, 2 and 4 resources available. 5, 2, 4. So again, requirement is 0, 0, 2. So we can execute P4 and then P1, or we can execute P4 and P1. Doesn't matter, we can have multiple safe sequences. So we can execute P4 and then P1. Or here they executed P1 and then P4. Anything can be work. And finish is true for all all processes. So this system is in a safe state. There is no deadlock. Now P2 request additional one instance of type C. So new request will be P2 requested one more instance of type C. We check whether the system is in safe state, can reclaim resources held by P0. So there is a deadlock, and these four processes will be in a deadlock state. Why? So here P2 is requesting one more resource of type C. So currently available resources are 0, 0, 0, and assume that P2 is requesting one resource. So you can execute P0 with this 0, 0, 0, and it can release one resource of type B. But this is not sufficient to execute any of the processes currently executing. Okay, this is the condition, and currently available resources are 0, 0, 0. Suppose this is the situation, whether this system is in a safe state. So this is available, and this is the request or need. So in this case, P0 can execute successfully, and it will release these resources 0, 1, 0, which were allocated to it, 0, 1, 0. So new available is 0, 1, 0. Now we have to check whether the request is less than available. So request is not less than available for any of these four processes. So these four processes, we can say that in a deadlock state. Only P0 will execute, and P1, P2, P3, P4 will be in a deadlock state for this particular scenario. So there is sufficient resources to fulfill other processes request. So deadlock exists consisting of these four processes P1 to P4. So now deadlock algorithm, what it will do? It will check when and how often to invoke depends upon how often deadlock is likely to occur. Either to run cycle detection algorithm or to run safety algorithm. It depends upon the frequency of deadlock occurs. How many processes will need to be rolled back? Rolled back means they need to be preempted, and their resources are taken forcefully to the system. So that is rolled back. One for each disjoint cycle means first how we have to, like in case of road traffic, we ask vehicles to move back. So how many vehicles to move back, and we have to solve it one by one, just to remove or to, we didn't want cycle in a system, we didn't want deadlock in a system. So ask processes to roll back one by one and check again if there is a cycle or there is a deadlock. If detection algorithm is invoked arbitrarily, means without after 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or whatever the time is, which is not fixed, there may be many cycles in the resource allocation graph. So we would not able to tell which of the many deadlock processes cause the deadlock. So if arbitrarily this algorithm is executed, it is very difficult to detect which process caused the deadlock. So let's see how to recover from the deadlock. So now system granted requests and run the deadlock detection algorithm and found out that there is a deadlock. So how to get out of it? What is the remedy? So to recover a deadlock, only one option is process termination. Control Alt Delete or go to the task manager and delete the processes or stop those tasks. So first is about all the deadlocked processes. Just Control Alt Delete, restart the system. All the processes can be aborted. That is the first option. Or second option is abort one process at a time until the deadlock cycle is eliminated. Delete one process or abort one process and check whether the system is still in a deadlock or can we proceed. If no, again check whether abort one more process and check. So continue till you are out of the deadlock. Now for the second operation, for the first operation, you are just stopping all the processes and starting it again. In second operation, when you want to abort one process at a time, then you have to choose one process which is called victim process. Which process should be stopped or which process should be aborted? How to select that? So in the order, in which order we should choose to abort? First, we have to check with what is the priority of the process. If this is high priority process, cannot be aborted. If it is low priority process, so this process can be aborted. But if we have more, all the processes are of low priority. Now, how to decide among those processes? So first we have to check how long process has computed and how much longer to completion. Suppose one process is about to finish its execution. It just requires one resource and it will finish. And there is a new process newly entered into a system and still not started its execution properly. Just completed first few cycles of execution. And so among these two, you can choose the process to abort, which is the new one, not the one who is about to finish. So that also you have to consider how long process has computed and how much longer to completion. Resources of the process has used and resources process need to complete. If process used too many resources, then we can choose that also, because after aborting that process, those many resources will be available for other processes and other processes can complete. Or resources process needs to complete. If process is asking for too many resources which are not currently available, then let the process abort and wait for other processes to finish and release their resources. And lastly, how many processes will need to be terminated? That also we need to check. After deletion of one process, will it recover or not? So instead of choosing 4 low priority processes, if you choose one higher priority process and you are getting out of the deadlock, then that decision need to be made whether to delete 4 low priority or one high priority process. Is the process interactive or batch? Interactive means foreground process, which is communicating with a user, which is accepting input or displaying output. Is it an interactive process? Or batch process? Batch process means system process, which is communicating with the kernel. So again, depending upon that, you can choose whether that process has to be a victim or not. So these are the criteria on which process can be chosen and aborted. So recovery from a deadlock, which is called resource preemption. Select a victim, it is minimize cost. Roll back, return to the safe state, restart the process from that state. And starvation can occur. For example, some processes may always picked up as a victim and include number of rollbacks in a cost factor, because it requires too many resources, it is a low priority process, and it is not it to complete. So again and again the same process might be chosen for as a victim or to be rolled back, and that will create the starvation. So combined approach to deadlock handling, some operating systems also combine these three approaches together, that is prevention, avoidance and detection, which allows the use of optimal approach for each resource in the system. Partition resources into hierarchically ordered classes and use most appropriate technique for handling deadlocks within each class. So depending upon the resource, the techniques can be chosen. It is not necessary to choose only one technique for all type of resources. Resources are partitioned in different classes, and depending upon the type of resource, whether it is shareable or whether it is mutually exclusive, depending upon that, techniques can be chosen to handle the deadlock, and deadlock handling will ensure proper usage of the resources in the system. Any queries about deadlock recovery or detection?